Hello, fight fans, Seattle Mike, MMA with friends. Everybody, please hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed, or I will sneak into your house and cut all of the tips off of your Q-tips. Wouldn't that be a pain? UFC 259. I am so excited. 3 title fights, guys, and I don't know if we've ever had a card. Somebody correct me if we have, where we've had 4 champions on one card, champion versus champion in the main event. Guys, on paper, this is truly one of the most stacked cards in the history of the entire sport. And I really don't think I'm over-exaggerating that one bit. Let's start out with a couple of juggernauts at light heavyweight. I mean, this is such an interesting matchup between Thiago Santos and Alexander Rakic. Rakic coming in just a slight favorite, a minus 137, because Thiago Santos is on a 2-fight losing streak. But let's start out with that. Not really, a losing streak, in a lot of people's minds. A lot of people thought that he won the fight against Jon Jones. I didn't, but I thought it was very close. He definitely gave Jon Jones his toughest fight by far up to that point. There's no doubt about that. He, lost a split decision. First guy and only guy ever to win a round, win against Jon Jones on a whole card. One judge had it for Santos, split decision. He was on a 4-fight win streak before that, and that included a 3rd-round knockout of the current champion, Jan Blachowicz. He smoked the current champion. So despite, losing to Glover Teixeira by 3rd-round submission, his fight after Jon Jones, he gets an impressive win over Alexander Rakic. And he is right back in title contention. I mean, he's either 1 fight away, depending on who wins, or right in there for the belt. Glover's most likely next. But if Jan wins, Thiago Santos can look back and say, hey, I got that impressive knockout over the champion. And that's a storyline that everybody can buy into. Alexander Rakic. This guy is so damn good. He really is. He lost his first fight ever, wins 12 in a row, then loses the 1 split decision loss, to Volkan Ozdemir, and that wasn't an exciting fight. I think he could beat Volkan Ozdemir. He just seemed to be kind of having an off night that night. Wasn't that Ozdemir was real impressive. Rakic just, for whatever reason, didn't show up like he generally does. Came back, though, with a unanimous decision, dominant performance over Anthony Smith. I have went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over who I think will win this fight. And before we have the stream starting at 5 p.m. Pacific tonight, I might change my mind again. But with the knockout power of Thiago Santos, he's got a lot of knockouts. He also is very hittable, though. He got taken out by David Branch before coming up to light heavyweight and going on the current streak. Was he dropping too much weight? There's an argument for that. But, Rakic, he has not shown that there is any chink in that armor. His chin has not been susceptible up to this point, and that's why I threw him about. I am going to say Alexander Rakic by either late round knockout or if it goes to decision, I'm going to say Thiago Santos. This is just a coin flip, guys. I would hate to be a judge for this fight if it goes to the distance as well. I'm sure it's going to be very close. Islam Makachov against Drew Dober. Another interesting fight. Little surprised that it's in the 4 spot, but I think it deserves to be there. Drew Dober, after a second-round submission loss against Benil Dariush, he's won his last 3, all of them by impressive knockout. And this guy, he's just been around forever. He started as an amateur in 2007. If it seems like, man, how is this guy still fighting? That's why. Started his amateur career in 2007, became pro in 2009, and he's still only 32 years old. This kid could be in his prime. And it went over Islam Makhachev. He is in a very, very competitive division. And it's going to take more than one impressive win, to crack into those top guys, or maybe even that top 10. But he's at 15 right now. You never know. I do think Islam Makhachev takes him out, though. Makhachev has 7 submissions. He's finished all but one of his fights. I say Makhachev by decision, unanimous decision, or by submission. And that brings us to our first and maybe the most interesting fight of the night. First title fight of the night, maybe the most interesting fight of the night. Could definitely be fight of the night, in my opinion. So after losing to Marlon Moraes in 2017, Aljamain Sterling, man, they gave him a murderer's row. And not only is he on a 5-fight winning streak, that's always impressive, right? But when it's against guys like Jimmy Rivera, Pedro Munoz, and Corey Sandhagen, people take notice. It's like, man, you can't deny this guy anymore, and that's why the odds are what they are. Look at the odds. Exactly even, minus 110 on each guy. So that's where the casinos make their money, because no matter what guy you bet on, you got to put up $110 to win 100. The casino keeps the $20, or the 10 on each side, however you want to look at it. But training out of the Serra Longo camp, Aljamain Sterling, since losing that fight to Moraes, he has just been absolute fire. He had better be fired tonight, though, because his opponent that he's going against tonight has only lost once, and that was a split decision against Magomedov, and that was in 2016. So in the UFC, after a 3-round beating of the California middle-aged man Uriah Faber, Peter Yan went in there and put a whooping on former champion Jose Aldo. I think we learned some things after the Aldo fight, though, and I think we've seen some weaknesses possibly in Peter Yan's game. He looked very hittable against Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo with a lot of miles. Jose Aldo, he's not the guy that, dominated the featherweight division for over a decade, went over a decade without losing. He's still very good, still a very good test for Peter Yan, but, he got Yan's chin a lot, to the chin, to the body, and I think he exposed some things. Yan's definitely going to have a few advantages coming into this. I think he's got the power advantage. I think when he gets to the ground, that ground and pound, how he puts the leverage on those shots, almost defies reality. He puts so many pounds per square inch on those ground and pound shots. It's a bit terrifying. That being said, Aljamain Sterling, I think he's faster. I think he's a more complete mixed martial artist. If he doesn't get caught like he did against Moraes, I think he learned from that. Jan could definitely take him out with one shot. He's got that kind of power. I do think Aljamain gets it done in his first UFC championship fight, though. I'm going to take Aljamain Sterling by unanimous decision. So, first new champion of the night. Next fight up, you see the odds. That's the first thing that jumps out at you. Longtime champion Amanda the Lioness Nunez versus Megan Anderson. That's how I feel about that. Next fight. No. Minus 1250. The champ Amanda Nunez. Why is Megan Anderson getting a title shot? I'm sure when a lot of people seen this, the first thing they said was, Megan who? They probably said Megan, and then she corrected them because her parents didn't know how to spell, and Megan's just a stupid name. No. No offense to anybody named Megan. But is this the chick that just got choked out by Felicia Spencer 2 fights ago? Oh, yeah, it is. In a division that is as shallow as a pre-teen girl's crush on Justin Bieber, 2 impressive finishes in a row is all it takes to get a title shot in this division. The only question here really is, can Megan Anderson go the distance? Amanda Nunez, she has not lost since she was 25 years old to Kat Zingano 7 years ago. And it's not going to happen tonight. I'm picking Amanda Nunez by vicious knockout. I think it's going to end up being ground and pound. Either a ground and pound knockout or a submission in the second round. And hopefully the UFC can find some competition soon for the Lioness. But we get a little break, I guess. A little rest. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a little trivia during that fight before the main event. And oh my goodness. Wow. This makes up for a lot. Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya coming up from middleweight to take on the newly crowned light heavyweight champion. Woo! That is exciting. Wow. And, champion versus champion. Even Jan Blachowicz, though, had to be a little surprised when he got a title shot against Dominic Reyes after just being knocked out by Thiago Santos a couple fights before that. Well, everyone underestimated him against Corey Anderson. Corey Anderson came in there after getting an impressive knockout win over Johnny Walker, who was a big rising star at the time. Everybody's like, man, Corey Anderson, he's getting the next title shot. And Corey Anderson, he played John's game. He kind of fooled around. And he got caught in the first round, and Polish Power knocked him out. Then everybody underestimated Jan again. Jan gets in there. Jan moves up to heavyweight, announces he's moving up. They put the light heavyweight championship up for grabs. And Jan gets the spot against Dominic Reyes, the man that most people believe, including myself, defeated John Jones in their championship bout. And what happens? Boom! We underestimate him again, and Polish Power comes through again. Knocks out Dominic Reyes in the second round. Are we going to underestimate him again? Possibly. Possibly, because I underestimated Israel Adesanya several times in the beginning of his career. 5 months into his career, they matched him up against Brad Tavares. I said, he's not ready. I said, Brad's got better wrestling. He's a better overall MMA fighter. Man, this is going to be a really tough fight for Adesanya. He proved me wrong, dominates the veteran Brad Tavares. Then right afterwards, they put him up against Derek Brunson. This guy's a monster. How in the hell he makes 185? I have no idea what he cuts from, but he is a huge dude with insane wrestling, insane power, and Israel Adesanya, he was winning the underhook game against Brunson. He was winning everything against Derek Brunson, and everywhere. Brunson, a power puncher, check. A powerful wrestler, check. This guy brought a lot of skills to the table, and, a lot of people thought, man, this guy is the next champion at one point. Israel made him look like a fool. So then he gets the title shot against Robert Whittaker. Man, Robert Whittaker, he is a beast. I'm thinking Adesanya, I'm not doubting him by now. I think, he's definitely got a shot. But he goes in there and waxes Robert Whittaker in the second round. I thought, man, I can doubt this man no more. So I wasn't as surprised when he took out Paulo Costa in the second round. I was a little surprised at how easily he did it, but I think we see a repeat performance tonight. Jan Blachowicz, I think he's going to look slow and plodding against a much faster Israel Adesanya, who came in right around 200 pounds, under the limit, against a man that looks like he probably walks around at 250. Don't get me wrong, if Jan can connect with that Polish power on the chin hard enough, he could take Adesanya out. And I am interested to see how Adesanya responds. If Blachowicz lands one of those big shots. But first, he's got to land it against the most accurate striker in the UFC right now. This kid's got accuracy, power, puts on defensive masterpieces. I don't know if anybody in the UFC right now can defeat Israel Adesanya outside of the heavyweight division. And that could be just if they're too big for him. I take Israel Adesanya by second round, vicious knockout. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments below, though. Definitely join me tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm not doing all the prelims, guys, because Comcast seems to slow down my damn internet speed. And I feel like I'm sharper for the main card if I haven't been sitting here for over 8 hours, because this is going to be a pretty long one. With the possibility of 3 5-round fights, it could definitely run longer than most of your UFCs, possible in time of 11 p.m. Pacific. So please join me for that. Share this. Tell your friends about the channel. We're really looking to grow this channel, and I have a special announcement tonight. Something I'm going to do that may blow some of your minds and piss my wife off to no end if we can hit a certain milestone by the end of 2021. Make sure and tune in for that. Guys, as always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see your fine asses later.